Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson. This is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
So tonight we are reviewing a movie called Dr. Giggles, which was released in 1992, I think.
Yep, exactly right.
Yeah, and according to some people, it's developed a cult following, so it's really
It's
good
so
review.
bad it's good. How's that? Does that sound good?
Yeah, that's always good.
Well,
But
so bad it's bad. No.
But it's an interesting one, and the fact that some of it's very cheesy, which is okay.
Very and very cliche and different things. And
Well, our heroine and the kids in it, well, they're not really kids, they're actually fully grown adults, obviously portraying kids, right?
Well, yeah.
I
That
mean-
really doesn't matter. The old teenagers, young adults, really doesn't matter, okay?
I mean, when you look at the newer age stuff, you could tell that some of them do portray teens a little bit better than the predecessor teens.
Well, you look at Wednesday Addams. Yeah, it's been played by Jenna Ortega. Mm-hmm. Now, Jenna Ortega and her friend Enid, they're both about 20 years old, 21 years old doing that.
Yeah.
And they're playing school kids a couple of years younger. So
Yeah.
they do it so well. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes back in the day, I think they
Yeah.
probably got 30 or at least 29 or 25-year-olds to
Sometimes.
play teenagers.
Well, when Michael J. Fox was doing Back to the Future, I think he was 29.
Mm-hmm.
He was playing an 18-year-old or something rather. Mm-hmm. So,
Yeah, it was the 80s and early 90s stuff that happened back
yeah, but
then.
you get someone who can do it because you need a good actor in it. And you don't say, get a kiddie who can't act just because you want a kid.
Yeah.
Doesn't always work. Now, let's
Yeah.
just get on with it.
Yes, so anyway, so let's, so who directs, script
All
writes,
the other good
and all
stuff.
the other
Produced
good
by Stuart Besser, Besser. Directed by Manny Koto, Koto. Written by Manny and Graham Whiffler. Whiffler. I've got bad light here. Whiffler. Yeah, Whiffler. Now, I won't say too much.
What about box office and
I will
budget?
a minute. Yeah. Did he say it was an American slasher film? You bypass that. Very nice.
Well, I didn't say anything about whether it was American or Canada.
Or anything. Okay. That doesn't matter. Anyway, it didn't make a lot of money. It was made for about $7 million. And I can't see where the money was spent. And the box office about $8 million. 8 and a bit. But probably it appears to have become a cult film. So obviously, you would think home media and other things and special viewings and film festivals is making more money for them. So it's probably made some money. Yeah.
I do think the balance is good, and it's funny, and I like the horror in it.
Tongue-in-cheek
And-
crap. No, that's not very.
And the lead actress looks great in it, and some of the other people are not too bad in it, obviously.
Well, here we go. Holly Marie Coombs plays Jennifer Campbell. Boo. Larry Drake. Now, I don't know if I've seen Larry in anything. He plays the evil guy, the antagonist.
It was, I think, in Dark Man, I think it was.
But yeah,
think.
I haven't seen him. But he is weird, creepy. I think is that the best way to put it?
That's the best way
He's
I
not
could
creepy,
put it.
creepy like Art the Clown or something or other. He just comes over as but creepy. And you say, if you met this guy, would you cross the street? Yeah, he comes over that way. He's probably nothing like that in real life, but that's the image he puts over for this film. So if that's a put on, he's done pretty damn good. He's creepy. I like it. A guy called Clifton Young plays Tom Campbell. Glenn Quinn plays Max Anderson. I won't go anybody else there.
Yeah, because most of it's all
more bit actors and stuff.
just
Yeah,
another
fillers and stuff.
cannon fodder.
Cannon fodder. I like to call it cannon fodder. Yeah. She picks up bad habits from me, doesn't she?
And also, Holly, as I understand, she was also in the Charmed ones years later, obviously, where she plays Piper, one of the middle Charmed daughter, obviously.
Okay.
So it's nice to see a well-known 90s actor appearing in such a beginning, her probably starting off in a beginning of her film career, maybe not really.
Or whatever.
Considering,
Can we get on with it?
yes, sure, but
Okay. We have a nice American Saturday film you want to talk about. Okay.
Right. So let's see.
Once upon a time.
So the story begins in
1957.
Where let me see. No, actually, it doesn't start in 1977.
That's where.
It does.
He's a little boy of his daddy.
Okay.
His daddy was a crack doctor.
Okay. Dr. Giggles, whose name was, from what I understand, was Rendell, obviously, or Rendell something or other. And he's not a doctor, so you know, guys know. He's just a young boy to a real doctor in the town, obviously, of wherever that town is.
Okay, look, the patients of Dr. Evan Rendell, Rendell, kept disappearing, and that was his daddy.
Yes.
Okay.
And because his wife, as it turned out, had one of those, a heart condition, obviously, he was trying to find a heart, but somehow went crazy, and then
he was killing people and ripping their hearts out. Yeah.
Of course, police arrived and took him, and was he killed? Did he commit suicide, or did he get arrested?
Dr. Rendell got shot to death.
Okay, he got shot to death.
The police were after him. I don't think he actually made it to the courthouse.
Yeah, I think that he was I think a lynch mob came to his house and killed him, obviously.
No, the police got him.
Okay, the police got him. And they tried to search for his son, and this is where the local legends or local towns tries to figure out what ways he may have...
What happened to the child?
Yes.
Boom.
Then we cross over to the 1990s.
1992, which is about 35 years later.
Yeah, where we see Jennifer, who's in the hospital or doctor's office, telling her that she needs... to go through heart surgery, obviously, and it's a similar one that Rendell's mother is going through.
Yeah.
Of course, modern medicine, modern science has now improved. So
exactly, she's lined up for surgery.
Yeah,
so.
Rendell, the mad scientist's son, is now is inside a mental institute somewhere, but he escapes, obviously, and by killing one of the doctors there, and he kills two doctors and one nurse, I think it was.
Whatever. He got out of nut house.
Yes, using an ID and managed to get out. Anyway, so meanwhile, Jennifer doesn't tell her boyfriend about what the open heart surgery she's about to deal with. Because I think she's either a little bit insecure.
She doesn't want him to know because her mother died of a heart condition, and she thinks there's a good chance she might die if she gets the operation anyway. Yes. So she didn't want to put any stress on her boyfriend. Isn't that lovely?
Her boyfriend is also has his own. Well, he has no big issues, and of course it's taking place during, I guess, they're going to have a school break or sorts, or a school carnival thing that's happening, something celebration.
Something or other. No.
And all the kids are happy about it, including all their friends, obviously.
Summer break anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
And of course everyone wants to celebrate, but Jennifer feels like she's just going through mourning.
Well, part of that, but she can't do anything energetic. She can't drink. She can't do this. Can't do that. Can't do that either. And so she has to be very, very quiet. She can't party on. Yeah. Gee, she's going to be a wet blanket, hey?
Yeah, her doctor gave her sort of one of those leaflets that tells you what not to do, before opening heart surgery.
And she had to wear a heart monitor
to make sure that...
I had one of those, one of those things to strap on there to check...
check your heart daily.
Yeah, because I had a problem a couple of years back. Yeah, it's a pain in the neck.
Yeah, so it means that you have to check if your heart is going really hard. Anyway, we see Jennifer walking home, and she kind of walks across from a creepy house that was where the ex-doctor's family lived, obviously. And
bugger that, isn't it?
Yeah, she meets up her neighbour, and she's one of those creepy
little off-spinster ladies who a dog lady or a cat lady. Dog lady, wasn't it?
Dog lady. Yeah. Anyway, she then goes home, and there she meets her dad and tells her about the open heart surgery that's going to be taking place. Or, according to a doctor, it's not severe. It's just that it has to be done one way or the other. But she's unsure because of the fact, like Mike says, her mummy died of that sort of similar surgery.
You don't want to risk it, do you? Children.
Of course, her dad he wants to see all the best for his little girl, and of course, he doesn't help things that her father's married to a woman young enough to be her sister. Well, yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. My mum passed away, obviously, and Dad's got a
new girlfriend.
New wife, and she's a younger version of his wife. Yes, how's it?
Yes. Without the...
Who wouldn't have? A new model.
Yeah, anyway. So, soon enough, some kids come to the Dr. Giggles, house, or Rendell's house.
Yeah, well, it looks like it's still abandoned. Like, no one's touched it for 35 years.
Yeah. Anyway, I should nickname this guy Dr. Giggles so you won't get confused with his father, Rendell.
Yeah, just Dr. Giggles is a good name.
Yeah. And he breaks into the house, and he breaks into his father's doctor's office, which is probably located down in the basement.
It was downstairs, but it had been boarded up. So maybe Daddy and Junior had boarded up so the police wouldn't find these files, these operating rooms and everything. I don't know. I got no idea.
Yeah, that's how we hardly know why. Or maybe...
And some old clothes of Daddy's. Because and it just so happens he's the same shape.
Yeah.
Well,
surprise, surprise. Anyway, the kids enter there, and they're specifically there to try and find how the boy escaped the police, over the years. Cause
There's a lot of urban legend story stuff. Yeah,
it's like those urban legends, or most urban legends, you may get a few crackpots out there. They think they may think he crawled through an open space in the walls to escape the police.
Well, that's another point. If those rooms have been panelled up, there could have been a secret way into it, like a crawl space. And being a child, he could have crawled into it.
That's true.
And hid for a while, and he got out, and they found him later on a bit cracked, so they put him in a nut house.
Yes.
There you go.
Anyway, they also have a weird, would you call it a nursery rhyme, or just a creepy rhyme the kids made up about the creepy doctor?
I think it was made up for the show. So.
Yeah, it was made up for the show, but I imagine it became one of those songs you hear so often when you're in town about the local creepy doctor, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, soon enough, to the kids...
Oh, here it is. No, he didn't escape. I just remembered. He sewed himself up in his mother's body.
But that came much later.
Yeah, he was just talking about it. That's why. Yeah.
It came up much later on, obviously. Anyway, two of the kids that were at the house, they locked their two mates inside one of the rooms and make their daring escape out of there, thinking this will be a good prank for them. All that stuff.
Yeah, but how do you get out of a locked room?
Beats the hell out of me.
Stupid people.
Yeah. While the boy and the girl, they try to bash the door as much as they can, but soon enough, while they're bashing, Dr. Giggles slips a syringe inside the keyhole. And injects the boyfriend.
Yeah, in the back or lower back or something. He's laying against the keyhole. But he's already his bum.
Yes. And the girlfriend, she gets killed, obviously. And then later on, we go to a carnival that's sort of located not too far from where Dr. Giggles' house and Jennifer's house are located. And there, Jennifer... she makes the decision of going out with her friends, and here she admits to her boyfriend Max about the open heart surgery stuff and her fear of dying like her mother, obviously. And how she also opens up about her father. He's moved on from her mother, and she feels like she has not moved on because of what happened to her either.
Stuff like that.
Anyway. And eventually, she decides to head off home while I'm not saying it's her friend, but more of a student who wants to starts flirting with Jennifer's boyfriend, taking him away and giving him a private saxophone lesson. Yes, you soon say.
I wish I was a saxophone. The way she was...
Anyway, Jennifer heads home, and she eventually gets back to her house, and she hears in through the walls her father and her stepmother at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. While this is happening, her nosy neighbor notices that there's something. She hears the noise of the girl that was being killed. The couple that were being locked in the room, and she decides to go check it out for herself. She also calls the police, obviously, and she notices some strange stuff. And eventually, she heads back home, tells the police, and the Dr. Giggles enters her house and replaces her sleeping pill with something else, more like I don't know, painkiller or something. I don't know. It could be wrong. I don't know what pills do. Anyway,
well, no, what she had, yeah.
He does enter her house and injects and kills her, obviously. While the police investigate, and they think this is just another one of those loonies. And according to the nosy neighbor, to them, she's just always picks on everything or everyone in the town.
She's a strange lady. Conspiracy theories and everything, probably.
Yes, neighborhood watch. More like neighborhood gossip.
There's a strange person over there. Must be an alien. Yeah, that sort of stuff. Yeah.
But anyway, they head inside the house. It's an old policeman and a young rookie policeman and all that stuff. And they go inside, and of course the young policeman is all about asking questions about the urban legend. And of course the guy shrugs it off, saying, it's just an urban legend, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't explain the house, which is, give me a break. Anyway, he goes up. They don't go deep inside the house very much, and they kind of leave, obviously. And not bothering to look for any further.
Yes.
Anyway, Jennifer is at her house and she's looking through her family album of her late mother and her father, looking happy. And she takes off her heart monitor
and throws it in a fish tank.
And she heads back to the carnival, while her father, after he's done, with his wife, his stepwife.
Did he wash it?
He notices the heart monitor is in the fish tank.
Went swimming.
And he decides to go look for his daughter. But his wife doesn't want to go.
She wants more sex and stuff. Yeah.
She thinks thinks Jennifer's doing this as an elaborate attention-seeking thing. But he knows that this is not some attention-seeking thing. If something goes wrong, like she somehow passes out from that heart thingy-wing, that could be something serious.
You never know.
So he heads off, leaving his wife alone, obviously, where she goes and dines on ice cream, obviously.
And who wouldn't? I like ice cream. I have a sweet tooth. I love lollies. I love ice cream. Even like chips.
She gets killed by Dr. Giggles because he sucks the ice cream out along with lots of blood. He also notices Jennifer's heart monitor and the heart forms that the doctor gave her, and he realized that she's got the same heart conditions as his mum, and he thinks that he can probably cure her or save her. Obviously, we don't know that. Anyway, so we go back to the carnival, and there Jennifer gets the news from one of the girls that's been hitting on Max, obviously, and tells her where to find Max. Turns out he's in the orchestra classroom, giving the girl a blow-by-blow of saxophone lessons.
Blow-by-blow. That's her mouth action on the mouthpiece of the saxophone was very suggestive and obviously meant to be provocative.
Jennifer tells him, gets annoyed and walks off, and Max chases after her. Anyway, she then notices her father there and decides to hide inside the Hall of Mirrors. Is that right?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Also...
Guess who else is in there?
Yes.
And it wasn't Art the Clown.
Max and Tom, they follow in after her. Well, I think... No, not Tom, obviously. He didn't know where she was. But... Dr. Giggles follows, and we do get a few scary moments with the mirrors, obviously, and she manages to get out, obviously, and manages to get away from Dr. Giggles and runs into the police. There, she gives her statements to the police and so is her boyfriend, but both of them still don't believe that anything about a doctor, thinking that it can't be Dr. Reynolds and all that stuff, but eventually we get the full story of what became of Dr. Riddle's son, obviously. We find out that his son got sewed inside his wife's dead body.
Yeah, the policeman says, well, he was there back then, and they found, the story goes that
they kind of take the body to the morgue or the police
as
morgue.
They would, and the morgue attendant, he hears something, and he sees something happening on the abdomen, and you see the scalpel come out through the skin, and the little boy emerges.
Well, actually, he was a police officer who was upstairs in his office, and he hears rattle noises downstairs, and he noticed the body, obviously, and he opens it up like he just did one of those, what do they call it when you do a special pregnancy where you end up cutting a person
like
open.
a cesarean.
Yes.
Okay.
One of those. And, of course, this freaks out the policeman so much. And the young officer starts suspecting that maybe Dr. Reynolds' son is going around killing people. And he starts doing his own investigation.
No one believed him because when he went back to report and came back, the place had been cleaned up and his mother's body had been sewn up again.
Yes.
So no one believed him, so it was just his word. Mm-hmm. So they didn't follow through on it.
Anyway, so the young officer, he does his own private investigating, discovers that the hospital that this Dr. Giggles has been living in for almost a long time he made an escape from, obviously. And he also tells us to Max, whom I don't know why, because Max is hardly a police officer.
Yeah, but he's involved with it, so he's So he says, it drags me along, mascot,
Yeah, anyway.
Jimmy Olsen, cub reporter.
Yeah, Jennifer is, I think, taken over to the hospital to go do the surgery, obviously, while her father is at home trying to find out what happens to her. Of course, he gets a phone call from the police telling him where Jennifer is, obviously, and where to find her. And at the same time, Dr. Giggles is inside the house, and he knocks out Tom, her father, and he gets the full message and decides to head down there, obviously. And of course, he then makes his way, obviously, there, and eventually Max he decides to head to the back to the house where Dr. Giggles is, obviously. And of course, the young police officer, he makes the point of going there too, obviously. At different times, obviously. Anyway, Jennifer is about to get her surgery done, and of course she gets to, I think she develops a nightmare at one point where Dr. Giggles appears, and he just starts doing the surgery, and of course but it nearly kills her, obviously, from it. Anyway, but it was a dream, obviously. Anyway, as they're preparing the surgery thingy, Dr. Giggles appears and he attacks her doctor. And of course, he takes her body back to his doctor's office in the basement with the express purpose of doing the surgery himself. And he also starts showing the hearts from his victims, that he starts taking them out one by one, saying, "Nah, don't fit.
Too big,
too small." Even though me and Mike here, we both know a heart is the same size as a fist.
About the size of your fist. Some of these look a bit on the big side. Yeah.
They look as big as horse hearts. I don't know, or pig.
I think the special effects person got a bit over the top here. But if you close your fist to make a fist, your heart's about that size.
Yes.
Not twice the size.
Yeah.
If it's twice the size, it's probably a horse.
Yeah. A lot of people often said to me that in some doctor procedures, they would often do open heart massage, where they use the person's hand to do the massage of the heart. That makes sense when you think about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so as he's about to prep Jennifer for surgery, whatever, something happens where the policeman arrives and he makes is sent to the basement where he sees the victims, the victims that have the latest victims that are in the waiting room.
Yeah, he hadn't seen the waiting room. Waiting for what? Mm-hmm. Strange.
Yeah, and as he's about to take the scalpel and put it into Jennifer's body, I should mention, he actually, I think he used the not electric shock, the
defibrillator.
Yeah, defibrillator, and made sure that her heart stopped beating from
He had to stop her heart, so you wouldn't have the blood circulating, gushing all over the place. You got so many minutes, but you stop the heart and then whip the old one out and put the new one in, sew it together, and then kickstart it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gather. I'm not a doctor.
I'm not a doctor either. Yeah. Anyway, luckily enough, the policeman arrived and he tries to stop him. Of course, while this is happening, the doctor quickly tries to hide, while dear old the policeman tries to, wake Jennifer up, stuff like that, which he finally does.
Hi, sweetie, wake up.
He unchains her. She's chained to the operating table, I should say. And luckily enough, he was able to get her off there, and she quickly makes her escape, and she runs into Max, obviously, who was there, obviously. And of course, this becomes the cat and mouse game where Dr. Giggles tries to chase them and trap them. And of course, he kills the policeman trying to help them to escape, obviously.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's a nice man.
And while this is happening, the gas is on, which means
he turned the gas on there, and the idea was to
blow up the
house with the Dr. Giggles in it.
Yeah, the couple, Jennifer and Max, they quickly ascend the staircase. It's really rickety, but they end up climbing out of it, obviously, and of course they manage to get out, and of course manage to get away from the explosion, obviously.
Yep. But Dr. Giggles was inside. Now, this house took a mighty big explosion.
Very.
How the hell did he survive when he was in the middle of it?
Anyway,
I don't know.
Anyway, Jennifer gets taken to the hospital, obviously, where they make the preparations to do the surgery there, obviously.
Yeah, she did have a heart surgery.
Yeah, and while this is happening, I think we have one doctor is prepping her, getting the face mask on her to make sure she breathes and goes into a sleep.
Real doctor.
And while the nurse notices that two of the other doctors are absent.
Yes, and then she sees a drop of blood on the floor, something underneath the door or something.
She discovers them, and she gets killed by Dr. Giggles, who's
in a slightly charred outfit.
Yeah, he appears and he kills the other doctor that's,
getting
ready. Of course, luckily Jennifer is not completely asleep, obviously, but manages to get off the operating table before he could cut into her.
I'd wake up.
And she quickly tries to get out of there and tries to hide as much as she can. Of course, she hides, and she in one of the I think it's one of the either one of the janitor's room
the janitor's closet. There's a janitor's closet.
Yeah, because there's another fibrillator and some other medical
things
stuff
in there.
So
stored in there. Yeah.
Anyway, she then makes a point of pouring some liquid on the ground and waiting for Dr. Giggles to approach, and luckily enough, she was able to throw those two fibrillator thingy wings onto the ground, electrocuting him.
What a good way, but didn't quite kill him.
I should mention the new surgical equipment he brings with
homemade ones,
homemade stuff. Like they look like the
Marquis de Sade would have loved it.
Yeah, the other ones before this were just normal needles and scalpels and stuff. In this one, it comes off as a little bit more, like, seriously, you could do a lot of damage.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so she's trying to make her escape after he falls unconscious after being electrocuted, he grabs her foot and he tries to, stop her from leaving. But luckily enough, she grabs one of his surgical big implants and plants it right into his chest.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And
he doesn't look very good.
Yeah, no. And then he does the fourth wall.
Yeah,
he looks straight
at the audience and says, "Come on."
is there a doctor in the house?
And then he collapses and dies. And actually, when he fell forward, it ran this instrument, whatever it was, further through his chest. It came out his back. Very nice going, it was.
Well, it was a very big tool. Anyway,
He's
so
a tool.
he collapses and Jennifer collapses, and then we see much later the next morning or sometime. Yeah. Jennifer's in her hospital bed. She's
must have had surgery that night because they found another doctor, obviously.
Yeah, and her dad's there, who's all better. Meaning they found him and he's not completely injured.
They plugged up his leaking body.
And Max, who just only had a broken wing, obviously,
broken arm,
and they're all safe and sound. And then that's the end of the movie, obviously.
Whoopee. No more Dr. Giggles. That was no laughing matter.
I gotta admit, though, even though some of it looks cheesy, but most of it seems to be very interesting. I gotta admit, I did get a rush watching the movie, obviously, and I like the unlikable characters as much as I like the likable ones, obviously. I mean, I like when silly people, especially ones that look like you don't really want them to survive, somehow end up getting to be victims of Dr. Giggles.
Yeah.
I mean, I like that. I like it better than victims who have never done anything to anyone, get to be the victims of Dr. Giggles, obviously.
Anyway. Now,
but it's good.
Anyway, a bit of information. A bit of production information. I don't always do this.
Good point.
There's something interesting here. Largo Entertainment, which is part of the production companies who put it together, signed an exclusive first-look deal with Dark Horse Comics. Obviously, this is based on a comic. To develop and produce films based on Dark Horse's franchises. Dr. Giggles is the first film produced as part of this venture. There you go then. Not bad. So, considering it's based on a comic, and comics are usually aimed at more of a kid, teen mentality, I suppose it wasn't too bad, because transferring a comic, it's always like a Batman or Superman. It was like,
Hey, don't knock it. Remember Tales of the Crypt?
Yes, I know.
Okay.
But Tales of the Crypt is also anthology stories. This is a full-length movie based on a comic. Okay, this is a bit hard to do.
And not to mention, The Crow, which was more of another horror, supernatural related, dealing with murder and stuff like that, intrigue and stuff, is also,
But anyway, irrespective, but it's very hard to take a comic, which is like a very, very short story, and try to make it into a film. And I think they've done it well for what it is. Not my cup of tea, totally. I mean, it's not bad. Don't get me wrong. You've only got so much you can play with when you're working on trying to be true to the story. And I think I haven't seen the Dr. Giggles cartoons, so I don't know. But if he's tried to be faithful to the storyline of the comics,
succeeds.
He may have. So that was one reason why it was done a particular way. Bad Company singer Paul Rogers covered the song "Bad Case of Loving You" for the soundtrack. I like Paul Rogers.
Is that the one where we were complaining about at the end about the song at the end?
Yeah. I would have preferred Huey Lewis, but that was Paul Rogers. I didn't know it was Paul Rogers, but he was in Bad Company and I think Free and other bands like back in the olden days. And he did a stint there with Freddie Mercury's band after Freddie Mercury passed away. He did a couple of concerts with them.
Oh, cool.
So, he's a very good singer, but I didn't like what he did for this. I would have preferred the original there. Anyway. Now, critical response. They were very critical.
I bet. I can imagine.
Right. Rotten Tomatoes is one of my favourites. Has an approval rating of 23%, based on about 31 reviews. Now, the consensus is Larry Drake's deranged performance as a titular doctor is just about all that distinguishes Dr. Giggles from its slasher brethren. So they're saying that the storyline around Dr. Giggles and what Larry did with it is the only good bit. And so I didn't like the rest of it because the rest of it said it was pretty, implying that it was just been there, done that. Cinema Score gave the film a C+ out of an A+ to an F scale. Variety called it widely uneven horror film and said that the film focuses too much on cheap laughs. Well,
Yeah.
okay, it was a comic. Vincent Canby also criticised the script in his review for the New York Times, stating that the screenplay is stitched together from variations on cliches used by or about the medical community. Well, yes.
Yes.
The Washington Post wrote Manny Cotto turns to co-writer Graham Wolfler time and again for punchlines in a desperate attempt to revive a script that begins in critical condition and ends up DOA. That's not very nice.
That's rude.
Sight and Sound wrote that the film's satire gives way to a few nicely nasty moments, but the film never tops the visual flair of the opening credits. So yeah, I wouldn't be that caustic in my approach, but yeah, it wasn't. I don't think it was as good as it could have been. Okay, I'm not saying it's bad like these guys do. I hate these reviewers sometimes. They couldn't make a bloody a whole day bloody video, let alone a real movie. So what would they know? Anyway, what I'm saying is, yeah, it was a little bit lacking in some ways.
Well, it lacks in laughs or kills.
Well, you didn't know whether it was supposed to be a slasher movie or a comedy slasher movie.
Or teen horror.
Or you didn't know what it was supposed to be, so it didn't really distinguish itself one way or the other. So it was on the fence, and I think that's why it's not as good as it could. If they made a commitment to a comedy horror or a comedy slasher, it might have been a bit better worked to make it a bit more funny, a bit funnier. If they made a bit more of a slasher film, they could have got rid of some of the humour and made it a bit more jump scary and a bit more bloodthirsty, maybe. So it sat on the fence a bit, and I think that's what pulled it down a bit.
Yeah.
How's that? Do you reckon?
I don't have an issue with it. I like the fact that it had the actor who played Dr. Giggles. He managed to.
Larry, Larry, great. He really did, didn't he?
Yeah, because I don't think I could bear it if they cast someone totally over the top serious actor in it.
No, the point is that Dr. Giggles is supposed to be mentally deranged.
That's what I mean.
No, yeah, but he came over as mentally deranged, not a guy trying to pretend to be mentally deranged. So he did it. He was very convincing in the role.
Yeah.
But I think the script, and I'm not knocking the writers. I think the script and maybe the directorship leaned down a little bit because I might have been trying to focus too much on the comic.
True.
Instead of actually making something based on the comic, they may have tried to make the comic. And that is probably where it sat on the fence. And that's where the problem was. Yeah.
Yeah,
anyway,
I think they were more or less. I like to think of it as similar to the Ice Cream Man. The Ice Cream Man. There was there was not this starring this guy, but another guy who is who's pretty much good at comedy horror as far as I'm concerned, and I think that was sort of this satire for that type of movie he did. And I do think that this Dr. Giggles and in that movie they have a common similar theme, comedy horror or horror comedy, whatever, whichever order you'll perceive the movies.
Whatever.
And of course I like to think that I don't think I would change anything. I don't want to make Dr. Giggles into one of those serious type of characters, like I don't know, not like Tony Todd or one of those
like
type
Candyman or something,
or one of those type of slasher killers where he's creepy. He's the type of person you see on the street and you don't want to talk to.
Yeah.
Or just a creepy old man you don't want.
The thing is, he could walk down the street.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't notice him. You say he's a weird-looking dude. You wouldn't actually know he is a slasher killer. But it's only when you get the gleam in his eyes when the doctor is in, then he starts to go a bit mental. And that's good.
Yeah, it's like a twinkle in the eye that really gets me, if you can call it that.
And his giggle.
If it was, he was just an ordinary, plaster, just boring, has no stage. Well, if he had stage presence, that's fine. But if it's a different type of movie we're talking about, that's a different matter. But I feel like Dr. Giggles is. This actor managed to develop its own personality.
Yeah, he brought it into it. You got to sort of compliment Larry Drake on what he did for the role. How's that?
Yeah. As for the kid actors, which comes up from different dimensions when I think about it. We're bringing the comedy, like comedy horror. That's the other actor.
This should be set up as a comedy horror slasher thing. Yeah.
Of course, I can't see Holly playing that cheesy girl next door screaming her tits off, even though she's not supposed to scream because she's got a heart condition.
Well, actually, that's why they had a scheduled surgery for her next morning, because if all that stuff was going on, it made her heart weaker, and they had to get it done.
Because if she didn't get it done, that would mean that she
would have been dead just like a mother.
Because of all the drama that's been sent.
That's interesting.
What's that?
Music by Brian May.
Really? You're kidding me.
Who's Brian May? Come on.
Well, you're going to have to tell me that one.
He was the right Brian May. Brian May was the lead guitarist in Queen.
Ooh.
Now, when you think about it, when you put the other guy in there, Paul Rodgers in it, he was in Queen for a bit after Freddie passed away.
Makes sense.
So maybe there's a bit of a link there.
And maybe, just maybe, that that the guys wanted to have Brian May to compose the music, obviously.
Yeah.
But he suggests bringing in the guy to do that particular song, for the ending, obviously. And any other music they may put into the movie, obviously.
Yeah, bit of music in it,
padding, stuff like that.
Well, the film music,
Anyway,
and lost music. So.
I do think that... I think it's time to rate this one when I think about it.
I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to give up on this film.
Me neither.
However,
I find it really pleasant and enjoyable.
It could have been more than what it is, but I'm going to give it about 7.5, 8, around there somewhere. Yeah. They could have developed it just a fraction more, either as a comedy, and that, or go in the other direction as a real full-blown slasher film.
Yeah.
But sitting on the wall takes away a bit.
I do like the mixture it gives, like I know it's not a fantasy, but it's like the fantasy of Dr. Giggles entering the reality, like Holly's reality. It felt like that, like your worst nightmare come to life. Of course it is in such movies like this. It's something that comes from an urban legend, and somehow it comes for you in a creepy sense when you say it. And that's probably how I feel about this sort of movie, where all the kids gawked and giggled at a local legend, and when it comes to town, Dr. Giggles is the one laughing like the Joker or the Wicked Witch of the West.
That sort of stuff.
Or something. Yeah. No offense if it's all the fans out there.
I like the Wicked Witch of the West. She's a nice lady.
Yeah, anyway. So I'm going to rate this now. So I'm going to rate it 9.5 out of 10 for me.
She's generous.
I think that I just like the mixture of comedy horror meets slasher horror with Holly and all the other actors.
It had a lot of pluses, but like I said, to me,
there's a lot of pluses and a lot of minuses.
Sitting on the fence too much, yeah.
And if only these reviewers gave it a little bit of a chance.
They've got no idea, these people.
Yeah, I didn't like that when they kept on saying, it's kind of poking fun of doctors, blah, 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 blah.
No, normal doctor jokes and different things thrown in there and crap. Well, that's fine. That's what I'm saying. If it was made as a comedy, they could have made it funnier.
True.
If they made it as a serious movie, they should have made it a bit more serious, a bit more blood, a bit more jump scare.
Anyway, so how do you rate it, Dad?
I did already, 7.5, 8.
Oh, sorry. So
you talk too much.
Sorry.
That was ages ago.
Sorry. Anyway, so that's our thoughts on
where do you get it?
Dr. Giggles. So let's discuss where we'll find it.
Here we go. My best bit here. Okay, I've had a look around. I only go on eBay and Amazon because they're my benchmarks. If you get them there, you might find them somewhere else. Okay, eBay, it is for sale, new and used. So even Blu-ray copies, I think. Amazon, it's for rent and for sale. Now, being an old film, 1992, when you go looking for a product, if you want to buy, make sure you don't buy a VHS or a Laserdisc. You will be pleasantly unsurprised, and you won't be very pleasantly surprised if you get the wrong product and you can't play it. So yeah, just be careful what you buy. Yeah, I would say I wouldn't buy this one. I'd just rent it and have a look at it.
Yeah, rent definitely.
I think it may be on YouTube. I don't know. I didn't look.
No.
It's not on YouTube?
No, I haven't found a good copy. No, I don't think I found any copies of it on YouTube, sadly, guys.
Okay.
But you may be able to find one on Daily Emotion, but I don't know. I don't hold your breath.
Yeah, we'll have a look. But yeah, there might be some streaming services might have it and different things. But there it is. There it is. Dr. Giggles, No Laughing Matter.
Was it under a different name? Most of these movies we often review
No.
often
Had a
have
working
second
name, Mr. Giggles, but it changed to Dr. Giggles for the film. Yeah. No, you didn't find the other name.
Okay.
Working title.
Just in case if there are people out there who in Europe, either from Europe or not, or America or Canada, may have a different name for it, like some movies do.
Sometimes it changes from country to country. They do that. Yeah.
Anyway, that's only a possibility.
I can't think of anything else.
That's only usually happens if maybe another movie comes out at the same time and they need to change the name.
Or they think that the name wasn't dynamic enough for that country. They want a different name to sell it for marketing. That sort of stuff, yeah. Anyway, you want to kill it?
Sure. So that's Dr. Giggles. Now it's up to you guys to actually watch the thing, hire it, or... Well, as Mike said, yes, hire it before buy it.
If you want to add it to your collection, by all means. But it's in my collection.
It's my collection too, obviously.
So I'm an archivist. Yeah, so I've got thousands of films there.
Yes.
But the point is that if you want to spend your hard-earned money, actually sometimes a rental is rather high on some product, and it's not much cheaper than buying it. So, but in this case, I think you might be able to rent a bit cheaper. So,
yes.
Just go for it. Rent it, have a look at it. Say, it's a piece of crap, or I like that. So, and then you buy a copy later. Yeah.
So that's it from us, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you guys for our next one. Hopefully, we'll probably try to squeeze in a few season movies for you guys when we get closer.
We'll get a couple of new. We said the other day, I think last
I'm hoping to.
We get something really, really new, and I want to get some things that are really, really old.
I'm hoping to actually review the new Terrifier 2, and maybe the mean ones.
What's that one?
Oh, it's sort of an adaptation of the Grinch story, but with a little more twist, but a little bit more of a horror slasher angle on it.
I love that.
And a little bit of a comedy in it, which might soften, but make it a little bit more hilarious.
Yeah, when they do that sort of stuff, when they get something like that, a fantasy like that, and then they.
Oh yeah.
Comedy. It can be good. Yeah, it's been like
such movies like Terrifier and the Mean Ones.
Yeah.
They're like the Mr. Giggles or Ice Cream Man that you guys think, I think is boring compared to now, obviously. But I often think Terrifier and the Mean Ones. I think they're going to become the new cult classics, my opinion, because these guys who made them. They were independent ones, and they were starting out. And while some of them may get flat-out reviews and say, they're just nothing films, blah, 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 but then that doesn't compare to the audience who watches it. I just thought about something.
You do a Terrifier. Art the Clown never talks, right?
No.
He just looks there and looks smiley at you, and that's it, and does little things.
We saw him at on a Halloween event.
Yeah, someone dressed up as Art the Clown. I thought, there's Art the Clown over there. Yeah, it was rather good. I got a smile from him. He didn't say anything. But I thought, you don't often get your antagonist not saying a word. And the guy, Art the Clown, whoever's doing it, He menaces people quite nicely by smiling and body language and so much. So, yeah, he's a pretty clever fellow. I like whoever it is, or whoever multiple people might be playing the role.
Well, it's David, I think.
It's the same guy?
Same guy throughout.
Okay, good. He scares the crap out of people just by smiling and tilting his head and body. Yeah, the body language. It's really creepy. It's really good. Ooh, I like it.
That's what I like, guys. Anyway, that's it from us, guys. So I hope you guys are enjoying these last few ones. As I said before, I'm definitely thinking of taking a year off from podcasting so I can actually take more of an active interest in my film career.
Yes.
So
we don't know when, but we'll keep you informed.
Yes. All right. That's about it from us, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you guys for our next one. So this is Sarah Stephenson.
And Michael.
Saying see you guys around on Boys and Ghouls Film Review. Bye for now and have a good week.
Bye, guys.